All right, so I will have you know to open up. This is Katie's first speaking engagement with me on any kind of stage. She's done her own speaking engagement, things like that, in her career, but not necessarily as part of Connected Leaders Academy. And it's funny because I'm going to open up with a little bit of a realistic joke, and I say a joke, but realistic because it did happen. Um, we we were thinking of maybe talking on communication. We ended up with dating and family fun, right? But we were thinking maybe communication. There was a couple things we could speak to on this conference, and then I said to myself, if it's communication, it'll be great because the funny thing is, I told Katie, by the way, we're speaking at this event on Valentine's Day. This is like a couple days ago. And she's like, we're doing what? When? And she's like, we're talking about communication. So that's a funny story. But anyway, she's a team player and she's here and she has a lot of wisdom because she is not only an amazing wife, but she's an amazing mother of 6 children. Okay, so we're happily married. Keyword is happily. We've been married for 9 years, going on 10 this April. So this April will be our 10th year wedding anniversary. Been together longer than that, but almost married 10 years. And just a lot has happened from the very beginning. So I'm just going to open up very quickly by giving you a bit of our backstory. We met many years ago. And then, of course, once we started having children, the game changed because prior to that, anybody who knows me knows I was a knucklehead. I was out there, making poor decisions and just kind of immature as a grown man. And it wasn't until I got married and then I had children that I had to man up, as they say, and I had to become the head of the household. And we're very traditional in terms of our roles here in the home. We have equal value, as we all know, right? She has the same value as me, as we're both children of God, and we have equal value. We just have different roles, and we embrace our roles in our environment and our culture here in the home, right? I'm the provider, the protector. I'm always doing things to make sure I'm taking out the trash. I'm building the business. Katie is a stay-at-home mom, homeschooler. She does the cooking in the house. Every now and then I'll step in, and we have very clear, distinct roles in terms of what we do. But at the same time, we're not afraid to get our hands dirty. I'm not afraid to change a diaper. She's not afraid to take out the trash, right? But it's just that kind of a dynamic. So that's essentially a bit of our backstory. We met, and she actually is uh, fluent in Spanish, which was nice, and she's also an athlete. And there was things about her that I was attracted to, and vice versa. And that's kind of the foundations of what we were about. Foundationally, we're both family people. Family is important to us. Our faith is important to us. Health and wellness is important to us. So foundationally, it worked out. And we actually did premarital counseling before we got married, which is super important, right? We want to make sure we talk about the hard things before it shows up. We didn't move in with each other until we were married, right? So there's a lot of foundational, traditional, conservative things that we did to protect the integrity of the covenant that we were going to embark on of marriage. So very, very important. And to this day, I'm surprised she's put up with me for almost 10 years, but hey, she's done it. So kudos to her. She should get an award for that. Marrying her is very easy. It's been very easy for me. Obviously, nobody's perfect. And there's little things about Katie that I'm just like, if only she would, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, the important things are there, right? Foundationally, and that's the glue that holds us. So she's going to kind of speak to the foundations of our marriage.
So when we first started dating and were engaged and thinking about getting married, we knew that we wanted God to be the center of our relationship. So that meant attending things at church together, shared reading. And then when we were engaged, we did a marriage preparation program through our church, which was a really good starting block, I guess to say. And then we always viewed it as our relationship was a marriage of 3, not just between the 2 of us, but also between God, kind of an idea of a triangle with God at the top. And the closer you are to God on that triangle, the closer together you are. So we find that keeps things in balance.
Yeah, and that balance is huge, right? Like it is a marriage of 3, as she says. It's God, then it's Katie and myself, and that's kind of the essence of our foundation here. It is a balancing act, right? It is not easy being the child of God we need to be and nurturing our relationship with the Lord. It's very important, but that's first, right? For me, it's God first, then it's my wife, and then it's my kids, and then it's my health, and then it's my business. Business for me comes in fifth place. A lot of people always say, Jose, how in the world do you make the time to do all the things you do in business? Right. And for those of people who don't know, I have two organizations that I run with multiple different income streams, and we built a pretty global company. We're in all 50 states, 37 countries. Almost, we're like a few members away, 5 or 6 members away from 600 members globally, with the Connected Leaders Academy. And I'm also a coach, author, speaker, and many other things. So, but that requires a certain level of balance. Now, we strive for a work-life balance, but that's a noble thing to strive for. But the reality is sometimes things are out of balance, right? So, in terms of the household, the glue in our household outside of the foundations of making God the center of our home, it comes down to having very clear roles, very distinct roles in terms of what Katie does, in terms of what I do. And we are very clear on that, but we're also not afraid to get our hands dirty in the other roles if there's a need, right? Like right now, Katie's getting her hands dirty in business. She's here talking with me on here. Now, is this what she would want to do? No, this is her first time doing it. She'd rather not do it, but she said, hey, you know what? This is a way I could serve, and this is a way to step up for the family. So I'm going to do it. That's what she's doing. And I can give you example after example after example, and vice versa. So that's important. So we're going to kind of speak to a bit about, before we go into how we date and the family fun that we do in terms of the things that kind of are the glue of the family outside of faith. We're going to talk about our roles, kind of like what she does and what I do, to give you an idea of our household.
So for a while, Jose kept saying to me, maybe you should start a business. Maybe you should do something. And I said, no, I think right now, honestly, the best thing for me to do as our family position is for me to take care of the kids and do the household chores, and you run with your business and go for it. I was like, if I start trying to do my own thing too, it's just going to take away from your momentum and what you're doing. Maybe later I'll do something else, but in this season of our life, I think that's what we should strive for. So we've made it possible that I am home with the kids and I am homeschooling them, which is like what I want to do anyway. I was a classroom teacher, or a ESOL teacher in the classroom for many years. And so it's a natural fit just to stay home and teach the kids. And that opens the door for him to be able to be fully into his business and run that how he wants.
Yeah, frankly, I couldn't run the business I'm running at the level that I'm running it if I didn't have her support. That's a fact. That's not it would be nice. It's just a fact, because the first 2 years, everything I built, I did it on my own, right? And when I say my own, I'm talking about a 7-figure business. It was not easy to build a business from zero to that in a short period of time without a team, right? But the team that was unseen, the team that people didn't see, was the headquarters here in the home. And I had a team there, in the sense that Katie was making the dinners, taking care of the kids, watching the kids, sometimes watching the kids longer than she would have liked, because she would want my support and my help. When I'm out of town on business trips, the house has to still run, right? And she, masterfully runs the house when I'm gone, and she never complains about it. And she knows this is just part of what I need to do to support Jose and to support the family. And there are things, again, that I do that I don't complain. I'm like, this is what I need to do. This is what our calling is, right? And this is our roles. So we have very clear roles. In terms of me, it's running the business, it's traveling, it's going out and shaking hands, it's having multiple calls a day, it's having a morning routine and an evening routine, make sure I'm filling up my cup and I'm doing the things that I need to do to be my best self, because you can't give what you don't have. So I got to pour into me consistently every single day to make sure I have the energy and I have the bandwidth and the knowledge and the wisdom and the energy to just give in to others, right? So that's very, very important. So we're very clear on that. We are aware of that. And again, it's important to know with clarity, what does she do? What do I do? And then once we know that, where do we need to step in when needed, right? Which is very, very important.
So in regards to that, I guess you want to talk about the marriage meetings.
Yes.
So part of it is being intentional on keeping your balance of work and fun, because our topic was about dating each other and family fun. So we strive, not perfectly, but we strive to have a weekly marriage meeting, kind of modeled after this book, Marriage Meetings for a Lasting Love. And that way we can be intentional about how we're going to have fun that week, how we're going to plan to date each other, how we're going to X, Y, and Z chores, etc.
Yeah, when it comes to the dating each other, right, and the things that we do for us as a married couple, that is foundational, right? So just a couple of things that we do for each other, because If we are not good on the home front, me and her, then the kids feel it, right? And if the kids feel it, we feel it. So everything has a domino effect in the home. If Katie's not in a good mood, guess what? She's going to leak that over into the kids, or it's going to leak over into me, and it becomes this like toxic environment. If I'm not in a good mood, same concept. So we got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, as a great record once said. So it's important to just make sure we're always checking the temperature in the home, protecting the environment, making sure we all have a good attitude. And some of the way that happens is to make sure we involve the kids, family fun, and to make sure that we are protecting our marriage and nurturing that relationship. Because something that is not nurtured eventually gets stale. Am I the only one who agrees with that? And I think most of us would say, I can't marry Katie and then treat her like a trophy on the wall, like collecting dust and something that I've conquered, that I've achieved, and she's mine. She's not going anywhere. That's not how it works. We have to nurture the relationship. She has to make sure she goes out of her way to make me feel loved. And I have to go out of my way to make sure she feels loved. It's a selfless act. And love is a decision, right? It's not just a feeling, because feelings come and feelings go. See that? Impromptu. Feelings come and feelings go. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they don't. And sometimes you got to rekindle and relight the fire. So, in terms of quality time for us, yes, one of the things we do is marriage meetings, which is a great book, which comes with this journal that we do. We meet on a weekly basis every Monday, sometimes Tuesdays, but generally on Mondays. And she tells me all the things that she appreciates about me. I tell her things that she appreciates, that I appreciate about her. And then we talk about planning for fun. What are some things we can do as a family together? What are the things that we should do maybe together? Maybe we're due for a date night or something like that. Then we talk about chores. What are some things that I need to be doing or you need to be doing? And she'll bring some things to my awareness. Hey, you've been saying you're going to do this, you haven't done it, vice versa. And then at the end is the part that's not so fun, and that's challenges, where she'll tell me some things that are frustrating her about me, and vice versa. Right? This is the time to air it out. It's not just whenever we are in a bad mood or something happens, we go at each other. This is a perfect way to have conflict resolution without a conflict actually happening on a high level. We know, hey, we have a marriage meeting on Monday. When I see you, we'll have the conversation. And instead of saying you this, you that, it's, hey, when you did this, it made me feel this way, right? As an example. So that's just a really cool system that we do. A couple other things we do is slow roast coffee. Talk about that.
So we have the luxury, since we're both home, to have a coffee in the morning together and just catch up and talk about our day, what's going to happen, how we're feeling, just like a daily check-in. We'll watch shows together in the evening, which is, maybe not the most exciting thing to do, but depending on the show, you can get pretty into it, and kind of, it could be a bonding experience to talk about. And then I know that people generally will suggest, like, couples take date nights at least once a week, once a month, whatever. We have found that having a large family, that's obviously great if you're able to do that, but you kind of need to be a little more flexible at times, and creative, and come up with other ways to do that. So, it's more about connection with the person, as opposed to actually going out and having a fancy dinner together or having some crazy experience. It's finding small ways to connect. And being intentional about it.
100%. I mean, I love to wine and dine Katie. I love to treat her to find nice things, right? But at the end of the day, I know that doesn't matter to her as much as it matters to me. We have different love languages. Many of you know about the 5 love languages, Gary Chapman. We had the pleasure of meeting him at an event that we went to in person and got to meet him. And great concept there. My love language is gifts, right? If Katie gives me a gift, oh my gosh, I'm in love. Right? For her, it used to be quality time, but now it's interesting, because as things evolve, you evolve, right? And your emotions and feelings evolve, and your perception on life evolves, and we change over time. But the important key is to change together, not change apart, right? So I understand that one of her love languages now probably is, correct me if I'm wrong, is acts of service, right? If I wash the dishes, guess she's so happy, So I'm aware, and we have to just be aware of that. But again, in the evening shows, we watch Traders, we watch Survivor. What are a couple other ones we like?
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race, stuff like that. Reality TV is really the thing, and there's some guilty pleasures in there, like the Housewives of Potomac, stuff like that. And I'll stop there, but you get the idea. Slow roast morning coffee. We have an hour every morning, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, where we just sit and talk and enjoy our coffee, and the kids are playing and we're doing our thing. But these are the things in between the things that hold the thing together. Right? I'll say that again. These are the things in between the things that hold the things together, is that quality time. It's not so much how much money you spent to do it. It's not so much where did you go to do it. It's did you just do it? And you can have the same conversation in a five-star restaurant that you could have on the couch having coffee together, distraction free without the kids, right? So it's really the quality time piece. And of course, we do other things as a family. So as we wrap up our talk here, let's talk a bit about family fun. What are some things we do there?
So I kind of embrace the idea of adventuring together as a family. So again, seeking new experiences and having them together. A lot of the times too, we like to base it in literature. So we like to read books and then connect an activity to that. But we do like to do family hikes. We'll do like fire pits in the backyard, board games, movie nights. We try to do on Sundays, we'll do like a family reading time together, and taking trips, just trying to adventure and experience life together.
Yeah,
And again, having that marriage meeting carves out the time to plan and be intentional about those things. Because otherwise you'll have an idea that, I'd like to do X, Y, and Z, but you never get around to it because you didn't sit down together and plan it out.
That's right. The 6 P's: proper prior planning prevents poor performance. One more time. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. And that applies not just in business, in life too, especially in the family life. With a big family, different age brackets. Our youngest is 1, our oldest is 18. He's actually in college right now in Prescott, Arizona. And we have everything in between: 3 boys, 3 girls, different emotions, different feelings, different ages, different behaviors, different interests. And everybody requires their time, and everybody needs to feel loved. Right. So it's a balancing act. And sometimes Katie says she has 7 kids because I need some attention too. Right. Especially when I'm sick. You should see her cater to me when I'm sick. Like I have a little bell and I can't even lift a finger. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? Was that you can't get up and use the bathroom? So anyway, so so yeah, when it comes to family, like we intentionally plan that, right? Success is a planned event. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So we sometimes might go to the Omni Bedford Springs, which is a place that she doesn't like me talking about publicly because it's like one of our secret wonderful places that we love in Bedford, Pennsylvania. And we'll take the kids there and do an evening there, a little getaway, or we'll go on a hike, or we'll go on some kind of a trip of some kind. And as she's mentioned, family reading time we love that. And on Sundays, read for an hour with the kids, and just everybody picks out their book and we do that kind of thing. So there's productive things. There's things that are just plain old fun, right? Like a family movie night with popcorn and watch Moana 2 or whatever we watched the other day. What was that movie, the new one that just came out? Zootopia 2, things like that. So, and we even might cook together, pizza night, taco night, things like that. So it's important to nurture that and to be cognizant of that and to make an effort to go out of your way to make it happen. Because in family life, in the busy life, you have to make things happen. People always say, oh, I don't have time, I'm so busy. Anybody can look at me and say, Jose is so busy. Yeah, I'm intentionally busy. I make my calendar, and I make my calendar around my priorities. And my priorities, again, is God, my wife, my kids, and then my health, and then my business. So you got to plan for those things in that particular order, in my opinion. That's my humble opinion. But that's important. So again, dating and family fun, these are required. These are not, it would be nice. If you are a family man or a family woman, you're married, you have kids, these are requirements for success in the family life, because what falls together falls apart, as John Maxwell would say. We have to intentionally prepare. Any final thought, Katie?
No, just that, yeah, the intentionality is key. You can't just fun is great when it happens spontaneously, but part of the marriage meeting, one of the criteria is planning for fun, which doesn't sound the most exciting, but you definitely will have more fulfilling experiences if you allow yourself to plan it in advance.
Yeah. So in closing on my side, again, it's about working together, right? And we constant course correction. We're recalibrating as we go, but we know what we need to do, and we know what our calling is. Her calling is to get me to heaven. My calling is to get her to heaven. We understand that the Lord has to be the foundation of our home, and we have to show that with our actions. Your actions speak so loudly, I hear not what you say. Our kids need to see us praying. They need to see us going to Mass on Sundays. They need to see us reading scripture. They need to see us praying. They need to see us reading a book. They need to see us exercising and eating healthy, making efforts to have the right diet and what we're eating and what we're doing with our time. They have to witness that, and we are that, and that's what it requires, and that's life. And it's never going to be perfect, but it's always going to be special. So that's what we have for you today around dating and family fun.